iDubbbz and Filthy Frank were once the faces of edgy content, but now Filthy Frank is an established musician with a dedicated fanbase, yet iDubbbz is the internet's punching bag. So how can iDubbbz learn from Filthy Frank to successfully transition his content without being a meme? Well, before we get to iDubbbz's apology that started this off, we need to compare both of their social blades. This is iDubbbz's monthly subscriber graph. Since January 2021, iDubbbz has gained 0 subscribers. On average, he loses 10 to 20,000 subscribers per month. This is incredibly peculiar when we go to his YouTube and realise he has been consistently posting content in this time. Yet, it's impossible for him to achieve positive growth. Now when we go onto Filthy Frank's original channel Social Blade, since January 2021, he has gained 360,000 subscribers, despite not posting in over 5 years. We can then go onto his Joji YouTube channel statistics. This is where he posts his new music themed content. Here he averages 1 million views a day and 30,000 subscribers a month. These stats are incredibly important for understanding how and what iDubbbz can learn from Filthy Frank. But first, we need to understand the relation between Filthy Frank and iDubbbz. In 2016, the internet was an entirely different space. Jokes that now get everybody cancelled on Twitter were once considered tame. It wasn't uncommon to click on an iDubbbz video or a Filthy Frank video and hear multiple slurs throughout. Filthy Frank originally gained popularity in 2013, where he posted the original Harlem Shake video on a different channel. Due to the success of the character in the pink suits, a new channel was created titled Filthy Frank. This, over the course of the few years Filthy Frank was alive, bred some incredible videos that defined a generation's humour. He once posted a song called White is Riots. This was a parody in which Joji was playing a character called the Pink Guy. The lyrics in this video would immediately be cancelled online today. If you think about it, Hitler did nothing wrong. He was really just trying to keep the race nice and strong. Cause white is right and white is good. Keep those N-words back in the hood. Everybody seems equal in our saviour's eyes, except for F-words and except for N-words. He also posted a video that currently sits at 36 million views, titled Best of Pink Guy. Throughout this video, the use of the N-word and F-word is quite common, which is similar to a lot of old iDubbbz content.
Hey boss.
What I'm about to show you is incredibly important to highlight exactly where iDubbbz went wrong and Filthy Frank excelled. When Filthy Frank decided it was time to hang up the pink suit, rather than post a full-fledged apology criticising his old fanbase, Filthy Frank tweeted, "I believe an official statement as to why I am now done with comedy is owed to my former fanbase, of which I'm extremely grateful for. Unfortunately, I no longer enjoy producing that content. Several serious health concerns, including but not limited to throat tissue damage and neurological conditions. This decision is final. I really can't express just how grateful I am to you all, nor will I ever forget the relationship that we had together. Moving forward, it is up to you whether you'd like to join or not. In any event, I will strive to continue creating and developing projects I am passionate about." So he didn't criticise his old fanbase, he didn't take the moral high ground, he merely announced his departure and progressed into Joji, who is now a full-time musician with over 25 million monthly listeners. Now, let's look at iDubbbz. iDubbbz originally found success on his old series known as Content Cop. This was where he would criticise other creators in a comedic, offensive tone. My personal favourite of this series, and one of the most infamous, is the Content Cop on Talamon Gao. This was to expose her wrongdoings and hypocritical attitude. But at the time, the internet didn't mind. This content was common and often referred to as comedy. Now, the problem comes in, surprisingly, when iDubbbz apologised for his previous actions.
I'm sorry to everyone that I made content cop videos on. I still don't like the majority of you, and that's fine, but I can recognize that you did not deserve the hate and harassment that I sent your way. I particularly want to apologize to Tana. Tana, I'm sorry. I should have never made that video. I harassed Tana in person and then harassed her online, and that's deplorable behavior. It's so I have made content that I am proud of over the years. It hasn't been as consistent as maybe I'd like it to have been, but you know, there is a lot of content that I think had a net positive on the world, and you know, I'm going to strive to.
And this has resulted in many threads on why iDubbbz was terrifying and indoctrinated young boys all over the world to act outlandishly. Now, this is ridiculous to assume a YouTuber has the ability to indoctrinate an entire demographic of people. But the reason this is assumed is because iDubbbz criticised his old audience.
There is a clip from this interview that's been floating around the internet, and it's me calling my fans antisocial and basement dwellers, and I was like, I didn't like, you know, interacting with my fans. I just want to be clear, like, that was my realization. I think a lot of people are like, of course that happened, is because you were creating that culture and you were attracting those people. And it's like, yes, I know. I know now. I didn't know before. It was my realization upon, you know, meeting more and more fans that I was like, oh shit, you guys are struggling. It was easy for me to identify them struggling when they were outside of my body. But the antisocial basement-dwelling incel that was inside here, I couldn't acknowledge that. I couldn't recognize that. So I needed the mirror to be held up to me.
So Filthy Frank excelled by acknowledging his old audience and accepting they built him his original career. Whereas iDubbbz has successfully tarnished his reputation by shaming his previous audience.
Like I said, I have no doubt there really were some dangerous weirdos that did hold dangerous beliefs in his community, but I don't think he made them. I think they were there when they found his content to begin with, and they stuck around because they just liked hearing the edgy words spoken out loud. That's it. I don't think he made them. He wasn't the Frankenstein to their monster.
It's going to be interesting to see how iDubbbz progresses. After alienating the audience that built him, is it possible he is going to be respected throughout the internet? Or is his audience going to always be so split and clash over his actions? Or is he going to become a legend like Joji, also known as Filthy Frank? Subscribe!